Hello everyone, welcome to another lab session. Today we are starting in a new subject which is if statements. I'm very excited on this subject. It's one of the very important subject in our application development world, and we will go through the each step of this new subject and we will learn how it works. All right. And again, as you guys know, Asiya and Jundula with us today. Hi Jundula.
Hi, Ozzy.
How Asiya?
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So how are you guys doing? How was the subject, Jundula? If statements.
It was a fun subject. And now I'm able to see how to, work with the different kind of scenarios right now because of the if statements. So I think it's very useful stuff, I believe.
Yes, and actually, it's as you mentioned, it's very important subject. We, we mostly use as a developers and SDET, any other of the, the anybody who works in the IT uh, is using this, the selection statements a lot. Is very important. Okay, so what we will do today, all right? We will first we will focusing on again the syntax. That is the most important thing. All right, when we start a new subject anytime after today, it can be if statement, next time it will be loops. All right, first thing, we need to understand why this subject is important, what is the purpose. The second thing, we will learn what is the syntax of it, and then the third, we will learn how this syntax works. Okay, if you understand these three things, why need it, what is the syntax, and then how it works. If you understand these three things, you guys are done. You can do any question related with the any subject and including if statements. Okay. So today, that's why first we are focusing on syntax or and how it works portion to make sure you guys understood very well. All right. So let's start it. And again, today we're not gonna deal with IntelliJ. Okay. Because I want to walk through the syntax again one by one with on our drawings, and I want to make sure to understand the syntax and how it works portion. So we will do some small tasks with the if statement, if else. We will walk through on the small tasks, and then we will see the syntax and how it works. And then in the next labs, we will go to IntelliJ. We will do more, little bit more complicated algorithm included question related with the subject. Okay. So as you guys in the screen right now, I put here if statements, and on the left side, as you guys see, are syntax. Okay, this syntax you guys know, you need to know. Okay, is Java. All right, every programming languages has its own syntax. For example, if you want to do if statement in JavaScript or Python, different languages, you need to learn the syntax of that languages. And in Java, this is our if statement syntax, which is if, and then open close parenthesis, and inside parenthesis condition, and then open your curly braces, and inside your curly braces statement to execute. This is our syntax basically for the only if statement. So what it means basically, what's happening here, what's happening in as a syntax matter, what's happening here, right? So for that one, we need to understand how it works portion right now. As you guys see on the right side, I put here, you need to answer yourself two questions. First question, whenever you write any if statement, first you need to answer yourself, what is my condition? Okay, what is my condition? And then the next question you need to answer yourself, what will happen if the condition is true? Anytime you write an if statement, first you need to remember the syntax, if, parenthesis condition, and open, close curly braces, and statement execute. Then you need to answer this question yourself. What is the condition? And what will happen if the condition is true? And based on the condition is true, statement to execute will run basically. This statement will be executed. If the condition it is not true, the statement will not be executed. That is the whole purpose of this if statement. Okay. Again, I will repeat this one more time. With the if statement, you need to understand the syntax first. And then always, whenever you write an if statement, you need to answer these two questions to yourself. What is your condition? And what will happen if the condition is true? Right now, we will go through this small task. We will do one by one. Okay. And then we will answer those two questions and we will try to solve our questions. Okay. Junula, let's start with you. But before start, I want to ask you one thing, Jundullah. Have you ever thought, okay, after you learn this subject, have you ever thought or have you ever think like how you can use this subject, or are you using, you think like this subject or this subject is being used in any application you are using in your daily life?
So yeah, actually, Ozzy, when you think about it, let's say Amazon.com, right? So in Amazon, we are searching products, right? For example, if I want to buy some computer, right? So there are some specs that maybe I can filter out, right? For example, I want to buy some computer that has more than 8 gigabits of RAM, right? So there are filtering conditions. So it says that okay, you want 4 gigabits of RAM or you want 8 gigabits of RAM, right? So when I select 8 gigabits of RAM, it's gonna give me only the computers with the 8 gigabits of RAM, right? So the others will be eliminated, so I'm not gonna see them. So maybe they might be using this kind of if else statements in those kind of filtering conditions. That's
Yes,
what I was
perfect,
able to think.
perfect, perfect, perfect example. As you mentioned, basically in any application, when we use any application, if you see any filtering, right? Yeah, I mean, like show me all the TVs greater than 50 inches, 60 inches, or I'm searching something like this, and then show me the prices less than this amount. These are all filtering, and how everything is running based on the condition, and then some if statement is running behind the scene, basically. All right, perfect. Then let's go to our small test, Jundula. Let's start with you. All right. And I have right now one task, as you see. Please read the task and then try to answer the two questions and fill the all the needed parts for this question.
Okay, so the question says that write an if statement that assigns 5 to x when y is equal to 20, right? So as also we see in this syntax, we have a condition, right? What is the condition? It says in the question, it says y is when the y is equal to 20, right? So the condition should be here, y is equal to 20. So that's the thing I need to check. And what I'm gonna do when or if y is equal to 20 is the second part, which is statement to execute, right? So I'm gonna change this one to, let me do it.
Yes, basically the question
Yes.
says, okay, write an if statement,
X is equal
and
to
then Jundullah answered that two questions. One is, what is Jundullah condition, right, for this if statement? And Jundullah says the condition is, we are checking if y is equal to 20 or not. And what was the syntax? If, open close parenthesis, right? And inside the parenthesis, write the condition. And right now Jundullah wrote that condition, y is equal to 20. And the second question, Jundullah answered, what will happen if the condition is true? And Jundullah says, when the condition is true, my x is going to be reassigned to 5. And as you guys see in the beginning, our x is equal to 0, y is equal to 20. These are given values. These are my variables already holding the values. These are given to you. All right. And then you're writing your if statements based on these conditions. Again, what is my condition? What will happen if the condition is true? Okay, Jundullah, basically what's going to happen the output for this question right now?
So the output is gonna be here. At the end, it's gonna print x is 5.
Okay.
Because
Let's say Jundullah, yeah, let's say we want to change the y to 10. Basically not giving 20 to me, it is giving 10.
Okay, so let me change this one to 10, right? So if we do it like this, so right now y is not equal to 20, right? So if I check this one, what's gonna happen is, since the condition is false right now, it's not gonna do the statement inside of these curly braces. It will directly jump to the end of the second curly brace, which is gonna be the system out println. And since I didn't change anything related with the x is gonna be 0 because it was 0 already.
Yes. Basically, since condition is wrong, my x is not going to be assigned to 5 anymore, and we're just going to print the first value of the x, which is the 0. Okay. This is a very nice example to understand how the if works. Again, two questions you need to answer. What is the condition? What will happen if the condition is true? Perfect. Let's move on to the next question. Let's keep continuing with the Jundullah. Let's finish the if part with you today.
Okay. So let me read the question first. Write an if statement that assigns 20 to the variable a if variable b is 50 and c is greater than equal to 100. So again, we have the similar thing that needs to happen here. We have a condition, and based on this condition, we are gonna assign something to our a. But this time, I see the condition is like combining of two different conditions, right? So first one is b needs to be 50, and at the same time, c needs to be greater than or equal to 100, right? So based on that, I need to arrange my condition in the if statement. Let me write it. So we are saying 50 needs to be, b needs to be 50, and at the same time, c needs to be greater than or equal to 100, right? Let me fix the if statement that we have here as well.
Yeah, if you guys remember in the last subjects, right, last modules, which we learned the relational operators, logical operators, and we mentioned, right, these operators we will use in the if statements. That's why it is very important to understand how relational operator works. And what was the relational operators, logical operators? Again, main thing, they return a boolean, true, false, which is condition. Right now, basically, Joomla use some relational operators and logical operators to create our condition. Right, Joomla?
Yes, that's correct. So I created the condition now. The next thing that I need to do is to put the statement here. So the question asks for me to assign 20 to the variable a, right? So that's what I need to write here. So a is equal to 20. And if I do the if statement like this, the result will be a is equal to 20, because right now my b is 50, so it is fitting with the first part of the condition, and the c is 100, so it is also fitting with the second part of the condition, right? It is matching, so the condition is gonna be true and the result is gonna be a is equal to 20.
Okay. Let's put some value. Joomla, it depends on you. Make the condition false.
Okay, so maybe I can do it like this. Let me change the c here, c value. So let me say this is 90, right? So if c is 90, even though the first part is true, since we are using AND operator here, the second part is gonna be false, and the total condition is also gonna be false because of the AND operator, right? And if the condition is false, it's not gonna assign 20 to a is gonna be stay as 10, which it was already in the beginning.
Yes. Perfect. Basically, yes, as you mentioned, the condition is false right now. And then a is not going to be assigned to 20, is going to be just stay as a 10. Initial, basically initial values. Perfect. All right, let's move on right now. I think this was the good two examples that we understood how if works portion. Right now, next if portion is if else. What is if else? If you guys pay attention for the first part, when we write our if statements, we never discuss, okay, if my condition is true, do something, but how about if the condition is not true? What's going to happen, right? Basically, we didn't put any statement to execute if the condition is not true, right? With the if else statement, right now we will do that portion. Let's go through the syntax first on the left side. If, open close parenthesis, inside condition, and then your curly braces, and statement to execute. If the condition is true, statement to execute. Then else, open close curly braces, and inside statement to execute. This last statement to execute inside the else, meaning if the condition is not true. And then again, you can answer, if you're writing an if else statement, you can answer yourself these three questions. One, what is my condition? What will happen if the condition is true? And what will happen if the condition is not true? If you answer these three questions based on the syntax you see on the left side, you can easily write your if else statement. Okay, let's move on to our small task right now. Asya, you wanna go through this example?
Yes. So first task that write an if-else statement that assign 20 to the variable y if the variable is variable x is bigger than 100. Otherwise, it should be assigned 0 to the variable y. So we have given two values for x and y. Now the condition is in the task, the condition is if the variable x is greater than 100. So my condition is x greater than 100. If this is true, my statement will be assign 20 to variable y. So y's value will be 20. Else, so it said otherwise in the task, it should assign 0 to the variable y. So now this time, if my condition is not true, then y's value will be 0. So this is my statement.
Perfect. Basically, again, you answered three questions, right? What was your condition? X should be greater than 100. Okay, that is the condition. And second question you answer, which is what will happen if the x greater than 100? Y is going to be 20. And then the last question you answer, what will happen if x is not greater than 100, which is y is going to be 0 in the else statement if the condition is not true. Okay.
So based on the given value, since my x is 110, so my condition is true, which is more than 100. So my when we print out the y's value, the y will be 20 in this case.
Perfect. Okay, let's make the condition is wrong so we can see how else is gonna work.
So let's say my condition is false, which is the x value is lower than less than 100. I put 70. So my condition is not true. Then it will go to else statement, which will be y's value will equal to 0.
Perfect. Then output is gonna be y is equal to not 20 anymore, right? It's gonna be 0. Perfect. So this is how if else works. Okay, I think we have one more Asya with the if else.
Yes. So write an if else statement that assigns 0 to the variable b and assign 1 to the variable c if the variable is less than 10. So let me go with this first. My condition based on the task that if the variable a is less than 10. So my condition a less than 10. Then my statement is I have two variables to assign. One is assign 0 to the b. So b's value equal to 0. And assign 1 to the variable c. So c's value is equal to 1. And it says otherwise, which is else statement, it should be assign minus 99 to the variable b and assign 0 to the variable c. So when my condition is false, not true, then I have different value to assign. So for the b, I'm going to assign minus 99. And for the c, I'm going to assign 0.
Perfect. Basic again, what is the condition? A is less than 0, 10. Okay, what will happen if the condition is true? In the if statement, b is gonna be 0, c is gonna be 1. And what will happen if the condition is not true, which is in the else? B is gonna be minus 99, c is gonna be 0.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, based on this, what will be the output?
So my a's value is 3, which is less than 10. So my condition is true. So the output b's value will be 0 and c's value will be 1.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, let's make again condition is not true.
True. So let's say my a's is more than 10, which is just simply make it 13. So now my if condition, the condition is not true. So it will go to else statement. In this case, now the b's value is minus 99 and c's value will be 0.
Perfect. Again, the initial this 13, 5, 7, A is 13, B 5, C 7 is given value.
Yes.
Okay. Please remember the variable. What is the variable? It's changeable value. Based on the changeable value, we see how our if statement is gonna execute it. So if statement, whatever we write it, it is not changing. But the values that given is changing. And we see how the if statement is gonna react based on the new values. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Asiya. Let's move on. Last one. Last one is the little bit more the last complicated part of the if statement, right? Again, how many kind of if statement we have? If else, and then if else if else. What is this if else if else? As you guys know right now, what we did in the beginning with Jundula, only if the condition is true, do this one. And with the Asya, what we did, if the condition is true, do this one. If the condition is not true, do this one. But only there's one condition. But how about if I have a more than one condition? For example, if condition one, let's say I have a one condition. If this condition is true, I want to execute something like this. But if the condition is true, I have different conditions to check as well. We can success this one with the if else if. Okay, let's right now check the syntax again first. If parenthesis condition one, and then if the condition one true, what to do? Statement to execute. Else if, you see, not else. Else if. Why? Because we will have another condition to check. Condition 2. And if that condition is true, what to do? Basically statement to execute. And then another else if is not else. Else if condition 3. Basically if condition 1, condition 2 is not true, check the condition 3. And if the condition 3 is correct, run the statement to execute. And then last, as you guys see, we have else. Else meaning here, if the condition 1 is not true, if the condition 2 is not true, if the condition 3 is not true, basically if none of the condition true, then do the else statement. Okay, again, I already put all this explanation on the right side. You need to answer yourself. What are my conditions? What are my conditions? Because you have right now more than one condition. And then what will happen if the first condition is true? What will happen if the first condition is not true and second condition is true? What will happen if the first and second condition is not true and third condition is true? What will happen if none of the conditions are true? Again, Jundullah, how many else if we can write it? Is there any limitation?
There's no any limitation here.
Yes, if you want, you can write 100 different condition, 100 else if statements, right? We don't mind it. Only thing you need to understand how it works. First, if, check the condition 1. If the condition 1 is not true, it's gonna check for the other conditions. If you have else if none of the condition is true, then it's gonna execute the else statement. I hope it's clear. Let's go. I think we have one example. Jundula, you wanna do this one?
Yeah, I can do it, no problem.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, so the question says write an if else statement that assigns 1 to the variable b if the variable a is less than 10, and assigns 1 to the variable c if the variable a is greater than 10. If the variable a is equal to 10, then the variable b and c both should be assigned with 0. So I see two different conditions here, and also one another condition saying that if what's gonna happen if the first two is wrong, right? So the first one says that we need to assign 1 to the variable b if the variable a is less than 10, right? So if the variable a is less than 10 is my condition. So the first condition, let me write it. So here is gonna be a is less than 10.
Okay, this is our first condition. And what will happen right now if a is less than 10? Basically, if the condition 1 is true.
So what's gonna happen, let me write this statement here. So basically question says that I need to assign 1 to the b. So b is gonna be 1. But if this condition is not true, then there is another condition that I also can check, which is the condition 2, which says here assign 1 to the variable c if the variable a is greater than 10, right? So the second condition is a is greater than 10. So this is my second condition, and the statement as it says in the question, I need to assign 1 to the c, and the rest will be about if none of the conditions are true, right? So I'm gonna put that part in the else. So if none of the conditions are true, the question says that I need to assign B and C, both of them with 0, right? So here I need to say B is 0 and C is 0. How I can understand that both of the conditions are wrong here? The question says if A is equal to 10, right? So this scenario is not fitting with my first condition and also the second condition. That's why when I say if the first two are wrong, do this one, right? Because that third case is going to be inside the else.
Basically, the question already tell us what's going to happen if the A is less than 10. And the question is telling us also what's going to happen if A is greater than 10. But the question didn't tell all the other scenarios, but says if this two condition is not true, okay, then for any other conditions, B and C should be 0, which is we are covering those conditions in the else.
Yes.
All right, perfect. So what will be the output for this one?
So output is going to be for this one, since my A is smaller than 10, right now A is 3, right? So it's gonna do whatever I have inside of the first if, which is B is equal to 1. So it's gonna assign B with 1 here. The result is gonna be B is equal to 1. And since I'm gonna do only the first if statement, I'm not gonna go inside these two. The C is not going to change, right? So C will stay as 7 here.
Basically, since 3 is less than 10, if statement is going to be executed, B is equal 1, and none of the other else if or else is not going to be executed because condition is true. Perfect. Yes. How about can we find any value which is going to execute the other condition?
So we can do it like this. Let me change A value to 13, which makes it greater than 10, right? So if A is greater than 10, the first if condition is gonna be false, but the second condition in the else if is gonna be true because it says A needs to be greater than 10. So if this is the case, the code is not gonna run the B is equal to 1, which is inside the if statement, and also it's not gonna run the part that we have inside the else. It's gonna run the part that we have in the else if only. So if that's the case, B is not gonna change, but C will be 1.
Yes, perfect. How about for the last portion, how we can execute the else?
So right now we are covering in the else if and also the if two cases, right? One of them is if A is smaller than 10, and the other one is if A is greater than 10. But there is also one more scenario, which is if A is equal to 10, right? So my else is able to cover that scenario because it is something another than the first two. So if that's the case, let's say if A is equal to 10, now I will be able to run the else case that I have here, else block, I can say. So since the first two is not gonna run, B and C is not gonna be assigned as 1, but else is gonna run, and B and C is going to be 0. Both of them will be 0.
Basically, if A is 10, the first if A is less than 10, no, not true, because A is 10. And then it's going to check this next condition, else if A is greater than 10, no, because A is 10, is not going to run it, and it's going to go to else, and it's going to cover all the conditions, right? And B and C is going to be 0. Yes, perfect. I hope it's clear, at least again, what I'm expecting you from you guys on this lab, all right? You guys need to be confident on the syntax and how it works portion. Okay, and I hopefully this three, I'm hoping all this small task is covered that portion and you guys have better understanding. All right, thanks so much, Junullah and Asya, and I will see you guys all on the next lab, and we're gonna continue on the if statements. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.